Hello, I'm Sharon Danley and mother of a son who was euthanized by the Trudeau government's Medical Assistance in Dying, or MAiD program, on December 12, 2021. I am now compelled to speak out against MAiD since I recently discovered that over 10,000 Canadians were euthanized in 2021 along with my son. That's a staggering amount and very concerning. As important, even though my son was an adult, he had a history of suicidal ideation and mental health issues, coupled with his genetically difficult physiology. It was a difficult life, but what proof was demonstrated by regarding his pain or mental well-being by MAiD? It appears the adjudicators just accept what a person says without any thorough investigation. And who investigates the adjudicators? My son removed the people closest to him, who truly supported him, yet still asked him to consider his decision more thoroughly with our love and support behind him. But he then surrounded himself with people who completely accepted his commitment to be euthanized. The entire incident was rife with lies, betrayals, rewriting of facts, and void of any humanity to those who truly loved and cared about him. He wasn't married or had children, so his next of kin would be his parents. I haven't even seen a death certificate. Not one person from MAiD contacted me, his mother, to truly investigate or corroborate his story about why he wanted to die. Nobody checked into his background that I'm aware of, or to legitimize his reasons for wanting to die. MAiD doesn't consider in any way that I'm aware of the devastating fallout to family and loved ones. In discovering the shocking latest statistics, I'm speaking out as a bereaved mother, who I am sure is not alone in the wake of these highly questionable exterminations being committed with this program. The bigger issue here is how much further is this program going to go? It started off to be used only for those suffering terribly with end-of-life physiology. It has now escalated to an amendment being proposed in March of 2023 to include people who are depressed. That's more than 50% of society who could use this program just to check out, especially with the fallout from the way the COVID fiasco has been handled. Where are the safeguards and better treatments or true mental health for people living with these challenges? I'm no longer hesitant to speak about what I see as the real agenda behind MAiD, given what society has had to endure with the lack of support and honest education that centers on critical thinking. It's worth illuminating how changes in laws negatively affect the well-being of society. There are many laws that start off with apparently good intentions, but look at what's happened with all the self-regulating bodies like colleges of physicians and surgeons, law societies, human rights commissions, teachers, and a variety of other unions and institutions, and what unfair, morally illegal destruction they have caused. The gay community lobbying for civil rights of partnerships that go with marriage. Decades later, we have sexual grooming indoctrinations in schools, drag queen pornography shows for kids, and the hugely damaging transgender hell that is ruining and propagandizing this current generation of children are all born out of this original law of obtaining marital civil rights. The vaccine catastrophe is another example of government deciding what's best for the citizens through massive, dishonest medical propaganda, which has caused millions of adverse vaccine reactions and severe vilification and life-altering punishments to those refusing to be jabbed with a seriously flawed vaccine. And of course, all the commercial media is silent on the truth. And just recently, an 84-year-old friend of mine informed me that she was getting unsolicited emails from Dying with Dignity when she never subscribed. Finally, we cannot ignore and must revisit the 1933 Nazi plan to kill incurables to end pain program. We all know what hell that led to. Doctors used eugenics ideals to justify sterilizations. Child and adult euthanasia became common, and ultimately, genocide was being accepted. Canada has the least safeguards for medically assisted death and a mounting list of controversial cases, by Tristan Hopper of the National Post. The Canadian assisted dying regime is probably the biggest existential threat to disabled people since the Nazi program in Germany in the 1930s. Tim Staton, researcher at UBC. When the government runs the system, the right of citizens to end their own suffering can be twisted to serve the state. Scott Shackford, Reason Magazine. It's worth checking Tristan Hopper of the National Post on his article of September the 23rd, 22. I'll put the link in the show notes below. Think about it. How will the MAiD program be any different? We've already seen it widen its scope, and now in March 2023, they want to include people who are depressed. This is definitely a very slippery slope, my friends. Who gets to define quality of life, and how is it measured? Further, where is the money in all of this? How can you measure depression? We all know the so-called mental health sector is ineffective or unavailable in most cases and depends more and more on pharmacology than ever before. How will MAiD handle the easy to get rid of your unwanted ones and free up the inheritance? When will family members with an agenda suggest that Granny needs to be eliminated because of any number of excuses they can come up with? What's the guarantee that the right person will be euthanized in hospital or hospice? Will the homeless, troubled teens, dementia patients, unemployed, politically incompatible, religious affiliation, Down syndrome, or other physically complex babies be the next targets for euthanasia in future amendments? It's a serious question given our sorrowful history. These possibilities are most definitely a reality. The supposed original intent for the use of MAiD, which is still highly questionable to some, has been lost. MAiD is actually a Trojan horse, in my opinion, and has turned out to be a way to rid society of the less desirable across the board. This is very, very serious, my friends, so please critically ponder it. Speak about these highly questionable proposals and share this video with your friends and family. And please contact your MPs on either side of the aisle and ask them to stop and think about where MAiD is inevitably headed and stop it. Thank you for watching.